My beloved child, if this message has found you today, it is not by accident. There is something happening behind the scenes that you cannot yet see. Last night, while you were focused on your own worries and unanswered questions, your soulmate opened their heart to their sister in a way they never had before. The feelings they had been hiding for so long finally became too heavy to carry alone. Deep inside, they knew they could no longer keep pretending that nothing was there. My precious one, your soul has sensed that something is shifting, even during the moments when doubt tried to convince you that everything was standing still. I know the loneliness you have felt. I know the nights when you wondered if your prayers were being heard. I know how exhausting it has been to keep believing while seeing no visible signs of change. But listen closely, my child, because what you cannot see is often where the greatest work is taking place. For a long time, your soulmate has been fighting a silent battle within themselves. They tried to ignore their emotions. They tried to bury their thoughts beneath daily responsibilities and distractions. Yet truth is like a river that continues to flow beneath the earth until it finally finds a way to the surface. Last night, during that conversation with their sister, something important happened. The walls around their heart began to crack. The fears that once controlled their decisions started losing their power. Just as a seed grows unseen beneath dark soil before it ever reaches the sunlight, I have been nurturing growth within both of your lives. While you believed nothing was changing, roots were becoming stronger. Lessons were being learned. Healing was taking place. Every disappointment, every delay, and every tear has been part of a preparation that neither of you fully understood. Nothing you experienced was wasted, because I have been using every season of your journey for a greater purpose. My dear child, doubt may still whisper that this connection will never move forward, but doubt cannot see what I see. I see every step your soulmate has taken toward emotional maturity. I see every moment they have reflected on their feelings for you. I see every breakthrough that has happened in secret. A gardener does not become discouraged when flowers fail to bloom during winter because the gardener understands that every season serves a purpose. In the same way, I have been preparing hearts, circumstances, and timing. Last night was not just another conversation. It was a sign that hidden truths are beginning to come into the light. The story is changing, my child. Hearts that were once afraid are beginning to speak honestly. Trust me as you continue forward. I have been watching over you, guiding every step, and leading this journey according to a purpose far greater than you can currently imagine. My precious one, after that conversation ended, your soulmate did not simply move on with their evening as if nothing had happened. The words they spoke lingered in their mind long after the room became quiet. They replayed the conversation again and again, hearing their own voice admit truths they had spent so much time avoiding. There was a strange mixture of relief and fear within them. Relief because they had finally allowed their heart to speak honestly. Fear because honesty often requires change. My child, many people believe that transformation happens in a single dramatic moment, but true change usually begins with a quiet realization that can no longer be ignored. Last night became one of those moments for your soulmate. Something awakened within them, and they are beginning to understand that their feelings for you are far deeper than they once allowed themselves to believe. I know there were times when you questioned whether this connection truly mattered. There were moments when silence felt louder than words. You searched for signs, searched for understanding, and searched for reassurance while carrying the weight of uncertainty. Yet while you were waiting, I was working beneath the surface. Consider the roots of a mighty tree. Before the branches stretch toward the sky, the roots spend countless seasons growing in hidden places. No one applauds their progress because no one can see it. Yet those unseen roots are what make the tree strong enough to withstand future storms. In the same way, both you and your soulmate have been growing in ways that were invisible to the outside world. Challenges have strengthened you. Delays have taught patience. Heartbreak has created wisdom. What once felt like obstacles were often preparing both of you for something greater than you realized. Listen carefully, my beloved child. Your soulmate is beginning to recognize that the peace they sought elsewhere could never fully replace what their heart feels when they think of you. The realization is not arriving all at once, it is unfolding like the first light of dawn spreading across the horizon. At first, only a small glow appears. Then little by little, darkness gives way to clarity. This is the season they are entering now. They are seeing things differently than before. They are questioning old fears, releasing old assumptions, and allowing themselves to imagine possibilities they once resisted. I have been guiding this process with great care, just as a gardener gently tends each plant according to its needs. Do not allow impatience to steal your hope. What is developing now requires wisdom, maturity, and trust. The conversation that happened last night was not the final chapter. It was the beginning of a deeper awakening. And as this awakening continues, truths that have remained hidden for so long will gradually come into the light, revealing how closely I have been guiding every step of this journey. My beloved child, there is something else you need to understand about what happened after that conversation. When your soulmate finally shared those hidden feelings with their sister, they were met with something they did not expect. Instead of judgment, they found understanding. Instead of being told to suppress their emotions, they were encouraged to be honest with themselves. Those words stayed with them. Even now, they continue thinking about the questions their sister asked and the truths they could no longer avoid. For so long, they convinced themselves that keeping everything locked away was the safest choice. But a heart was never created to live behind walls forever. Just as a river eventually breaks through every barrier placed before it, genuine feelings always seek a path toward expression. My child, this is why the events of last night were so important. The conversation did not create these emotions. It simply revealed what had already been living inside their heart for a very long time. I know that waiting has not been easy for you. There were days when you felt forgotten and nights when your faith felt tested. You wondered why progress seemed so slow. You questioned whether the signs you noticed truly meant anything at all. Yet I tell you again, nothing you experienced was wasted. Think about the changing of seasons. Winter never asks permission before arriving, and spring never appears before its appointed time. Beneath frozen ground, life is still preparing itself for renewal. Roots continue growing. Seeds continue developing. The earth remains busy even when everything appears still. In the same way, while you were focused on what was not happening, I was carefully arranging what needed to happen first. Healing had to take place. Lessons had to be learned. Certain fears had to be confronted. Your soulmate has been walking through a process of growth that could not be rushed, because lasting transformation requires more than temporary emotions. It requires courage, self-awareness, and truth. Listen closely, my precious one. Your soulmate is reaching a point where ignoring their feelings is becoming more difficult than facing them. Every time they try to move their attention elsewhere, their thoughts return to you. Every time they attempt to convince themselves that these emotions will fade, they discover they have only grown stronger. This realization is both exciting and unsettling for them because it challenges everything they once believed about their situation. Yet this is how awakening often begins. The sunrise does not ask darkness whether it is ready to leave. It simply arrives, and the darkness gradually disappears. In the same way, clarity is beginning to enter their heart. They are starting to see this connection through new eyes. They are beginning to recognize its value, its meaning, and its place within their life. Trust the process, my child. Do not allow fear to write conclusions that I have not written. The path ahead is still unfolding, and the truth that emerged last night is only the beginning of a much larger story that I am carefully guiding toward its proper season. My dear child, after that night, your soulmate found themselves noticing things they had tried to overlook for a very long time. Small memories began returning unexpectedly. Certain conversations replayed in their mind. Moments they once dismissed suddenly carried new meaning. It was as if pieces of a puzzle that had been scattered for months were slowly being brought together. They started realizing that their feelings for you were not temporary emotions passing through their life. They were something deeper, something that had remained present even during periods of distance, confusion, and silence. My child, there are times when people become so focused on avoiding their hearts that they fail to recognize what has been standing before them all along. Yet truth is patient. It waits quietly until the moment a person is finally ready to see it. Your soulmate is entering that season now. The understanding they once resisted is becoming harder and harder to ignore. I know there were moments when you felt as though you were walking alone through a long valley. You carried hopes that others could not fully understand. You smiled through disappointments and continued moving forward even when answers seemed far away. I watched every step. I saw the strength it took to keep believing when circumstances gave you little reason to do so. Listen carefully, my child. A canyon is not carved in a single day. A river shapes stone through steady movement, patience, and persistence. In the same way, I have been shaping both of your lives through experiences that often seemed unrelated to your journey together. Every challenge taught something valuable. Every delay revealed hidden weaknesses that needed healing. Every season of waiting strengthened qualities that will be important in the days ahead. What felt like standing still was actually preparation. What felt like absence was often protection. And what felt like confusion was leading toward greater clarity than you can currently imagine. My precious one, your soulmate is beginning to ask themselves questions they once avoided. They are wondering why thoughts of you remain present no matter how much time passes. They are wondering why certain feelings refuse to disappear. Most importantly, they are beginning to wonder what might happen if they finally stopped running from the truth. This inner reflection is creating change within them. The walls around their heart are not collapsing all at once, but they are becoming weaker with every honest realization. Just as the first signs of spring appear long before flowers fully bloom, the signs of transformation are already present. Do not become discouraged because everything has not happened yet. Growth unfolds in stages. The dawn arrives gradually before the sun fully rises. Trust that I am guiding each step with wisdom and care. The conversation with their sister opened a door that had remained closed for far too long, and now your soulmate is beginning to walk through it. What comes next will require courage, honesty, and faith, but the journey is moving forward, and the truth within their heart is becoming impossible for them to deny. My beloved child, there is a reason why I have asked you to remain patient through this season. What is happening inside your soulmate is deeper than a simple change of mind. It is a change of heart. After opening up to their sister, they began seeing themselves differently. They started recognizing how much fear had influenced their decisions. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of rejection. Fear of stepping into something meaningful and not knowing how it would unfold. For a long time, those fears acted like thick clouds covering the sky. Yet clouds can never stop the sun from existing. They only hide it for a season. In the same way, fear could not erase what your soulmate truly felt. It only delayed their willingness to acknowledge it. Now those clouds are beginning to part, and light is reaching places within their heart that have remained hidden for far too long. My child, I know you have often wondered why certain prayers seemed unanswered. There were moments when you looked at your situation and felt discouraged. You questioned whether the waiting would ever end. You wondered whether your hope was misplaced. But I want you to remember something important. When a gardener plants a seed, they do not dig it up every day to check its progress. They trust the process taking place beneath the soil. They understand that growth happens in hidden places long before it becomes visible. In the same way, much of the work I do occurs beyond human sight. While you were focused on external circumstances, I was working within hearts. While you were searching for signs, I was creating transformation. While you were asking why things were taking so long, I was preparing conditions that could support lasting growth rather than temporary excitement. Listen closely, my child. Timing is not the enemy of your blessing. Timing is often what protects it. Now your soulmate finds themselves standing at an important crossroads. Part of them wants to continue following familiar patterns because they feel safe. Another part is urging them toward honesty, courage, and emotional truth. This inner struggle is not a sign of failure. It is evidence that growth is taking place. A caterpillar cannot become a butterfly while remaining exactly as it was before. Transformation requires leaving behind old limitations. Your soulmate is beginning to understand this. They are realizing that avoiding their feelings has not brought them peace. They are realizing that silence has not provided the answers they hoped it would. Most importantly, they are realizing that the connection they feel with you continues to remain significant despite every attempt to push it aside. My precious one, do not underestimate the importance of these realizations. Great changes often begin with quiet moments of truth that nobody else can see. The conversation with their sister was one of those moments. It planted a seed of honesty that is continuing to grow. And as that seed grows, it will lead your soulmate closer to understanding what their heart has been trying to tell them all along. Trust me as this story unfolds, for I am guiding it with a wisdom far greater than either of you can presently see. My precious one, as the days continue to unfold, your soulmate is becoming increasingly aware that something within them has changed. The conversation with their sister did not end when the words stopped. In many ways, it was only the beginning. Since that night, they have found themselves reflecting on their journey more honestly than ever before. They are looking back at choices they made, opportunities they avoided, and emotions they tried to suppress. What once seemed clear now feels uncertain, and what once seemed insignificant now appears important. This is because truth has a way of reshaping perspective. When light enters a room that has been dark for years, details that were always present suddenly become visible. My child, your soulmate is beginning to see aspects of this connection that they could not fully recognize before. The understanding is arriving gradually, but it is arriving nonetheless. I know that waiting can sometimes feel like standing on the shore while looking toward a distant horizon. You can sense that something is coming, yet you cannot see it clearly enough to know when it will arrive. In those moments, doubt often tries to fill the empty spaces with fear. But listen carefully, my beloved child. The ocean does not rush its tides, and the stars do not hurry across the night sky. Everything moves according to a divine rhythm. In the same way, I have been guiding events according to a timing that serves a greater purpose. There were lessons your soulmate needed to learn independently. There were wounds that required healing. There were truths that had to be discovered through experience rather than instruction. Had certain things happened earlier, they would not have been prepared to receive them properly. What felt like delay was often development. What felt like distance was often preparation. And what felt like silence was never the absence of my presence. I have been working faithfully through every chapter of this story. My dear child, one of the most important realizations your soulmate is beginning to have is that genuine connections cannot simply be forgotten because they are inconvenient. They cannot be erased by time alone. Like a lighthouse standing firm through storms, some truths continue shining regardless of how many waves crash against them. Your soulmate has tried to move past certain feelings, yet those feelings continue returning with greater clarity. They are beginning to understand that there is a reason for this persistence. There is a reason your presence remains in their thoughts. There is a reason memories connected to you continue carrying meaning. The answers they seek are leading them closer to honesty than ever before. Trust that I am guiding them through this awakening step by step. Do not allow temporary appearances to convince you that nothing is happening. Beneath the surface, important changes are taking place. Hearts are softening. Understanding is growing. Fear is losing ground. And as this process continues, your soulmate will find it increasingly difficult to deny what they have come to know deep within themselves. Remain hopeful, my child, because the path before you is still unfolding, and I am carefully guiding every step toward the purpose I have prepared from the very beginning.